My insulin is administered through injections. There are two ways you can do it. You can do it through what they call a pen, which is a device that literally looks like a pen. The insulin is stored inside, and then there's a needle attached where the nib of the pen would be. You dial up how much insulin you need, inject it into your leg, press a button. Now, that is the way most people use it. Because I've had diabetes such a long time, I can't get out the habit of using a syringe. What you do is you draw up air, pump it into the vial, which is a small bottle, and then you draw the amount of insulin out that you need. Then you have to inject, whichever method you use, into a fatty area, i.e. your thighs, your stomach, your arms, your bum. And some people even do it in the calves, but that's very, very rare that people do that. I inject usually first thing in the morning before my breakfast. If I eat a big lunch, I'll inject at lunchtime with my evening meal, and then another injection about an hour, 2 hours before I go to bed. But there are many, many different methods of administering insulin in when people do it, depending on their lifestyle choice. So at the end of the day, people do it at many different times and in different regimes. Some people only take 2 a day. Some people take more than I take. So it totally depends on your lifestyle as to how you take your insulin.
Seeing her being given an injection, wasn't that awful? Because you see your child being inoculated before, and you know that's a necessary thing to be done. It's being done for their own good. Although clearly you don't like to see your child, suffering pain or even being frightened or anxious about it. Seeing her give herself an injection was a very emotional thing.
As a child, when I first started being diagnosed, the one thing that was very good that my mum was really good is that she never showed any fear in front of me. So by not showing fear in front of me, I didn't feel fearful. But that's as a child.
And then we were each asked to give ourselves a needle in our own body. That was really to encourage Laura and also to help us realise what it must be like for her. And I think that's really, really important.
With type 1 diabetes, you feel so awful that the injection is a godsend, because it makes you feel better. You know how awful you're going to feel if you don't do it. So for time immemorial, people have said to me, I could never inject. To which I kind of internally laugh every time, because if I didn't inject, I'd be dead within 4 or 5 days. So it's never something that's ever crossed my mind, not doing it. Older people that are diagnosed with diabetes and have to start injecting, I would say you'll be pleasantly surprised at how little it hurts, because the needles are so fine, so short. And once you've got over your fears of the injection hurting, you'll actually realise it doesn't hurt as much as you think. It's a bit like if you're holding a plate and someone goes, "That's hot," you drop it automatically because you're expecting that heat. And it's the same with an injection. Actually, maybe it's not quite as hot as somebody was expecting, and it's not quite as painful. I'm not decrying it does hurt, it is painful, but it's perhaps not as bad as you think it's going to be.